Welcome back, everybody, to the channel Reviews by Hunter. That's me, and today we're going to be talking about Toy Story 5. I got to see this, I believe, 2 days ago, and I got to say, for being the 5th installment in this movie franchise, it was pretty good. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this one was directed by Andrew Stanton, and it turns out this dude actually co-wrote the original Toy Story and also directed some of the most loved animated films out there that I've seen, such as WALL-E and Finding Nemo. I mean, just those two alone, I think those are some of the best ones out there. But again, I went into this thinking, man, movie number 5, it might not be good, but I love Toy Story, so let's go check it out. And I was pleasantly surprised. Right out of the way, let's get this out of the way. The movie visually looks very good. I think Toy Story's always been great about that, sort of really embracing like the creativity of how far you can go with a story about toys and wanting to be played with, right? But it looks good visually. This story follows Bonnie, who is struggling to make friends until her parents buy her a lily pad, also pretty much an iPad, but, lily pad in this movie. And this movie touches on something that I really don't think I've heard a lot of people talk about. It kind of touches a little bit also on cyberbullying and a little bit of the negative effects of giving kids devices so young. Bonnie's trying to make friends with these other girls around her age, but she struggles to do so because they actually make fun of her for having toys. Bonnie then starts to kind of feel conflicted because she loves her toys, but she wants to be accepted into the friend group. And so Bonnie, throughout the whole movie, is mostly sad. Now, Jessie is the main toy character in this movie as opposed to Buzz or Woody. And I was okay with that because I think largely Buzz and Woody's stories have been told. They do get decent screen time in this film if you're worried about that. Also, as always, spoilers. But yeah, it was good to see Buzz and Woody back together, of course. Just probably one of the best animated duos out there. And then, but also it was cool to get more depth into Jessie's character and learn more about the first kid that she was ever with, and seeing Jessie struggle with how much kids are attached to their devices in this film. And she is adamant that toys are meant for play, and that, I think at one point in the movie she says something along the lines of like, how is she supposed to make friends if everybody's just staring at their devices? And it's a scene where it's Bonnie and these other girls at a sleepover, and they are all just sitting on the couch, not looking at each other, not actually interacting in the real world with each other, just on the devices. So I did like that this movie, I think, really felt relevant to today's time. It felt like a modernized Toy Story, which I think Toy Story always does a good job at touching on subjects that are happening at the time. We just so happen to be getting toys versus technology this go around. Now, another thing is Randy Newman does return to do the score in this film. Of course, he's the "You Got a Friend in Me." He's that guy. I think he does a great job just helping this film feel like Toy Story, and it pulls on those sort of nostalgic heartstrings. So I didn't think there was anything in this movie that was like as iconic as like the "You Got a Friend in Me," which is really hard to beat, but it was still very, very good. So like I said, definitely a modern take on Toy Story. And I will say this, there's a subplot with the Buzz Lightyears that I didn't fully understand. I didn't dislike it, I just didn't understand it. There's like a Buzz Lightyear squad, and they're basically trying to find their way back to Star Command. And these are like advanced, or rather upgraded versions of the Buzz that we know. And they can like connect to the internet and connect to Wi-Fi and connect to each other. And they're trying to figure out where's Star Command and also what is their purpose, right? And they're kind of like just like I'll forget about them, and then the movie will just cut back to these Buzz Lightyears. I will say it was fun watching them work together to try and like get random things done for the mission. Again, Toy Story just does a good job with that. It's fun to watch, it's entertaining, and it looks fun. But storyline wise, I felt like they were just there to help the main plot out at some point in the film, which is pretty much what happens. And that's fine because they were entertaining enough. But that's pretty much all I'll really talk about the Buzz Lightyears. Another thing is that we do get some new characters in this one, such as Blaze. Blaze is another young girl who, again, she does have toys similar to Bonnie, but she's trying to connect with some friends via technology as well, and it doesn't work out. And she ends up with Bonnie's toys, specifically, what is the horse's name? I just saw this film. I can't think of... We're looking this up. This is going to bother me. You know it's going to bother me. Is it Bullet? Toy Story horse. Bullseye. Oh my God, not Bullet. She ends up with Bullet. Oh my Lord. She ends up with Bullseye and Jessie at one point. What is my turtle doing? Okay, no more distractions. And she starts playing with the toys. And one thing that I do like about Toy Story, especially in this film, is they go to like this, they kind of show what it's like for the kid's mind while they're playing with the toys. And it's just very creative and imaginative, and they're doing a whole storyline. Like one of the storylines is like getting the toys married or trying to disable a bomb like James Bond style. I love it because the animation style changes when they go to like this, the world in their mind. But I like it because it shows when we were kids and we played with toys, how creative we could get, and we could entertain ourselves for a long time, long before, iPads and all the technology was introduced. So that was fun to see too. Anyway, so we also get some other new characters. We get some, who were they? It was, Snappy, Atlas, and Smarty Pants. I thought they all did a good job. They're kind of like these abandoned toy / techie objects that that Blaze kind of doesn't play with anymore. But then they get reintroduced to help Bonnie out, and I thought that they were fun. They did what they needed to do for the movie. I did think that this movie, you could tell where it was going as far as the topic of kids playing with toys or technology, and it ultimately ends up on not having to choose either. It ends up with ending on the happy note of both having their place and usefulness, right? And, I think that's true. Again, technology is probably not going anywhere, so you might as well learn to accept it and treat it as a part of life and use it, make it work for you. But I will say, like, some of the jokes throughout this movie, they're pretty funny. They actually are pretty funny. Like, I wasn't like belly laughing through the film, but I would say I was chuckling, giggling. I had a smile on my face, which I think is important, right? I was being entertained, and again, for being a very family friendly type of movie, I was happy. I would say this movie isn't better than Toy Stories 1 through 3, but it's not a bad movie. And I will say my personal rating of this film overall would be an 8 out of 10. I thought it was well made. I thought it was a quality movie. And I'm going to beat a dead horse, but I'm just impressed that at movie number 5, they are still making a relevant, entertaining Toy Story that doesn't just rely on like nostalgia bait. They gave this universe even more life and more depth, right? And I can appreciate that. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 95%, which is outstanding. IMDb has it at a 7.6 out of 10. So it's getting pretty good ratings. And like I said, overall, I found this to be a high-quality addition to a beloved franchise that still manages to be heartfelt, even, 30 years and some change since the first Toy Story came out, like 2 years before I was even born. That's amazing, man. It's no wonder there was so many parents at this movie, tons of kids. Not a sold-out theater where I was, but it was pretty packed. And of course, all those adults that probably grew up on the first 3 want to show their kids, nieces, nephews the next installation in the franchise. It makes a lot of sense, and that's just smart on Toy Story, right? Also, if I had to describe Toy Story in one word, I would say wholesome, and the reason is seeing all the toys working together for a common goal again, getting further emotional depth from Jessie's backstory, seeing how far Woody and Buzz's relationship has come, and the idea that tech isn't inherently evil. It's just time to accept it as a part of life rather than completely fight against it. And toys absolutely should still have their place for children. I think that's really the heartbeat of this movie. And good storytelling, as always, from a Toy Story movie, and a movie that, again, was made with love. And it feels like this was made for the people, for the fans. It wasn't just like a cash grab. Like, I'll admit, I think the first 3 Toy Story films absolutely are goated. Like, if we're talking animated films, is it bad I don't really remember much about Toy Story 4. I just don't remember much. I feel like that one was actually a little forgettable. But I think I've said most of what I wanted to say on Toy Story 5. I will say, for people that are wondering about the budget, I think it came in at a little under 300 million. We're going to find out right now. But I do know that financially it's doing really well. Okay, the budget was around 250 million. Okay. Sounds about right. Again, to make it looked like a very quality movie. And then the actual box office, when I looked it up earlier, I'm pretty sure they did double their production budget. Let's see. Yes. So far, it has grossed 585 million globally. I can't state how impressive that is to me. This is not, 1, 2, or 3. Number 5, and it's made 580 million globally. That's outstanding. Domestically, for anyone wondering, it's made around 297 million. Had an opening weekend of 159.6 million. And according to this, it is the box office trajectory for this movie is that it is on pace to eclipse Toy Story 4's 1.7 billion lifetime total and become the highest grossing entry in the franchise, which is, again, amazing. Again, there's a lot you can get into with that. Ticket prices being more expensive, concessions being more expensive. I don't think this is better than Toy Story 1 at all, but it's still very good. It's very much worth watching. If you're a Toy Story fan, I absolutely recommend this movie to you. If you have kids, absolutely. I think they would love this. There's I think there was a couple jokes that were really more meant for the adults than the kids that I caught that, they do a good job where I don't think any kid would know it. And it wasn't anything too crazy, but it's like, I see what you did there. But again, Toy Story 5, what did you all think about it if you saw it? And what would you have rated it? And what was your favorite toy to play with as a kid? Mine was like this. It was either a red or blue Power Ranger, I think from either Time Force or SPD. I might have had both, but the Power Rangers in general were some of my favorite toys to play with as a kid. Anyways, guys, thank you. Leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, if you thought the video was so-so, let me know your thoughts. I like to interact. And have a good day. Take care. The next movie I'll probably be reviewing will be Supergirl, which I've heard mixed things about. But hey, I am out of here.